Today we're going to be talking about the Child's Play series, so I want to know down in the comments, what is your favorite Chucky adventure and why? Hi, I'm Adam Caesar, this is Project Black T-shirt, and if you would have told me 5 years ago that I'd be sitting here discussing the virtues of someone untangling the twisted web of the Child's Play films continuity 7 films in, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But that's exactly what Cult of Chucky, the brand new movie that just came out, is and kind of does well. If you're a horror fan of a similar age to me, you probably remember renting movies at the mom and pop video store slash Blockbuster. Around the time that I was first venturing into the horror section, there were certain VHS covers that managed to scare the hell out of me and really intrigue me, and those were the covers for the Child's Play movies. Child's Play 2 in particular, with Chucky cutting the head off the Jack-in-the-Box there. These were the kinds of movies I feel like I built up, and you probably did the same thing, that I built up as like going to be like really just terrifying and scary, and like in elementary school you'd talk to your friends and be like, oh yeah, I watched Chucky, yeah, it was scary. It's one of those movies that when you really finally did rent them, when you did rent the series, they're not all that scary. They're fun, kind of spookablast, very silly. At least the first 3 are very, very formulaic, and it's just like Chucky trying to find that damn kid and play hide the soul, as he puts it. And then in the post-Scream years, when we had the entire genre needing to get self-aware and needing to get self-reflexive and needing to delve into self-parody a little bit, we got the 1-2 punch of Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky. Now, I really love Bride of Chucky. I will defend it to my dying day. I think Seed of Chucky takes that wackiness and brings it even further into meta territory, and there are certain things I like about it. But after Seed, there doesn't seem like that much gas left in the tank. And the traditional Hollywood approach to a series where you've kind of delved into full-on farce, parody, satire would be to, quote-unquote, reboot the series, which is something that Don Mancini, the creator of Chucky himself, did with Curse of Chucky, which is the first one of these kind of straight-to-video incarnations of the series. But what Curse very smartly did is that it didn't discount anything that happened in the previous films. It's a fun little haunted house with Chucky movie, kind of standalone Agatha Christie-esque thriller, but it has connections to all of the rest of the series, especially in its little final last scene which reintroduces Alex Vincent as Andy Barclay. Now, a lot of my friends really loved Curse and saw it as a, like, quote-unquote return to form, but I also didn't really see anything wrong with those middle entries in the series, which were kind of sillier and funnier. So my reaction to Curse was like, yeah, that's really cool. As far as straight to VOD movies goes, it's one of the better ones, one of the better sequels. It's a movie I liked a whole lot, but it didn't necessarily blow me away. But that little bit of fan service they do with Alex Vincent is continued on in the opening scenes of Cult of Chucky. Unlike Curse, Cult is a movie I feel like I fully, if you'll excuse the pun, drank the Kool-Aid for. Cult is far and away one of my favorites of the series. It is smart and stylish and funny and has a few good jump scares, and the gore is really good. Just not something that you'd really be like, oh, the 7th installment in the series coming direct to DVD and Netflix on the same day. Not something you'd think like, oh, this is one of the better slashers, one of the better 80s revivals in recent memory. But it really is, and it is for a couple of reasons. A very brief plot synopsis, but I wouldn't read too many plot synopses, watch too many trailers if I were you, especially because the movie is so accessible and you can run out and go get it right now. Fiona Dourif's character, Nika, from Curse of Chucky, has been placed in an insane asylum. All the murders from that film have been pinned on her, to the point that she's talking with her psychiatrist in the beginning of Cult and actually believes that she's committed the murders, that it wasn't Chucky. It almost feels like they're going to do a little bit of like, is Chucky even real at all? Is it all in Andy and Nika's heads? I'm very glad they don't really go in that direction. For like the first 5 or so minutes, it feels like it's gonna try to do that. and it does not at all. But the way that they bring Chucky back, and the way that they bring elements from all of the films, even like 3 and Seed, which are not exactly fan favorites. The way that they like kind of justify the existence of every movie in the series is surprising and fun and makes sense, while also having this movie have a kind of style and tone of its own. It doesn't feel like a tired entry in a series. It feels like a revitalization of a series, while still not having to do the Platinum Dunes thing, not having to do like, oh, what if we have, someone else voice Chucky? What if we have, what if we start from scratch and tell an origin story again? Like they don't do that here, and that's what's so great about it, and what's so impressive about it, the fact that it can stand on its own and feel like its own movie and stylistically feel like its own thing after 30 years of making these movies about killer dolls. So about that style, writer-director Don Mancini did work on Hannibal, the 3-season NBC show that has a lot of fans, a lot of Fannibals out there, and that is a lushly photographed show. That is a tightly put together show with psychological verisimilitude, and he brings a lot of that influence into Cult of Chucky. They even have a line in here where Chucky says, like, "Oh, I can't believe that show got canceled." In respect to Hannibal, that was the one line / reference in the whole movie that I kind of wasn't on board for, because I thought it felt a little on the nose. It's not really a spoiler to say that Jennifer Tilly pops up, playing her character from the other movies, which is Jennifer Tilly / Tiffany. There is Fiona Dourif from Curse, Alex Vincent from the first 2 Child's Play films, all grown up, playing a kind of weathered, haggard, mentally damaged version of himself, but still very much a hero. They do a lot of surprising, a lot of fun, a lot of kind of like hand-clapping moments with all these characters. As far as not being a farce, as far as not being a funny movie, it's still a movie that's so much fun to watch, especially if you've revisited the series somewhat recently. And they have a set now that's all 7 of them, but I got this one back when Curse came out, so then I added the other disc. It kills my OCD not to have them all in one place, but if you have even a passing interest in these films, or if you have a nostalgia for that the video store days and you haven't seen them in a while, they are worth revisiting before you watch Cult, so you can kind of catch all the little references and winks. The one small gripe I have this movie, and it's not that small, it's a somewhat substantial gripe, is that the last 5 minutes of it, without going into spoiler territory, do set up like a whole nother story that seems like it's going to be awesome, that seems like it's right about to play out, and then the movie ends, which gives the movie a little bit of an episodic feel to it, which to me kind of betrays the idea that like this is a new tone and idea and direction for the franchise. The fact that you it feels like you have the first 5 minutes of the next film kind of pasted at the end of this one, but it probably won't annoy you too much. It's maybe a testament to the movie that it's like, oh, well, I want to see whatever that movie is going to be in a couple of years from now. I did mention that this is on Netflix kind of same day with its DVD Blu-ray release. At first I was like, why the heck are they doing that? But it does make a little bit of sense, because the version on Netflix is the rated version, the disc version is the unrated version, and from what I've been hearing, there is a slight change. Like the Andy post-credits part in Curse, there is another one of those bigger credits stingers in Cult, and they've clipped that off of the Netflix version. So if you want to see like the complete version of the movie, I'm sure it's not all that much different. You got to pick up the disc. And the disc comes with a good amount of special features. My favorite, which is called The Dollhouse, which is a mini documentary, which I found surprising and kind of surprisingly heartwarming. It's about the family that's kind of sprung up around these films, and to say any more about it would spoil it. But it is a little mini documentary that will make you say ah, and kind of happy that the same people are working on these films and have brought their own families in on the act. So while Don Mancini has been the one creative force kind of driving this series and its various takes, he's made this like weirdo Chucky-verse that's almost like Fast and the Furious-esque in its like bringing back of characters and shout-outs to the other films. It really makes me think, why don't studios or the people that own the rights to horror franchises or horror series, or even if they're just like 1 or 2 movies that fans really like, why don't other studios follow what Universal has done with the Child's Play series and just kind of hand over the rights to these movies they're not doing anything with to people who are passionate about them and fans of them. Maybe they're people that have been with the series since the beginning, like Don Mancini, or maybe they are up-and-coming writer-directors who have ideas and have something to say and don't want to discount what's happened in the series so far. Kind of just let them have it. Like, let them do it and make these smaller movies. They're not theatrical, but they still look great and still feel like real movies, like low to mid-budget range. Just let them make them. Like, it's something my friends and I are talking about in a group text right now with things like The Howling or Leprechaun or Wishmaster or whatever. Pick your poison. I'd say, like, you know, clearly fans, if you say the word remake, get upset. So just stop doing that. Just be like, sequel, here. No, here's a new sequel. Here's a new sequel. If they fall on their face, it's like minimal investment, both for the fans investing of their time and heartache and monetarily. It seems like a winning combination to me. I don't know why you would. For this week's book recommendation, I wanted to stick with the cult theme, even though it's a very loose theme. My current read right now is Ritualistic Human Sacrifice by C.V. Hunt, and it's just as charming as it sounds. I picked this up at Scares That Care. C.V. Hunt was there, and Anderson Prunty were there with Grindhouse Press, and I got this from them. I've been told really, really good things about it. I'm currently reading it. From the first bit that I've read, it feels a little bit like American Psycho. Bret Easton Ellis's American Psycho meets Darren Aronofsky's Mother. It's got a very kind of hard-edged but somewhat disattached narrator to it. It feels kind of grody. It feels kind of mean already. I'm very much intrigued by it, and that cover's really, really cool. So, Ritualistic Human Sacrifice by C.V. Hunt. That's it for today. I'm Adam Caesar. If you'd like to know a little bit more about me, a little bit more about my books, I got a free book for you. Signing up for the mailing list down below in the links. I'll put a link to Chucky and Child's Play and all, where you can get all this Blu-ray goodness and the book recommendation of this week. Have a great day.